What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. So before I get into this video, I want to give a shout out to the fellas in the sports chat group for posting this. I hadn't heard about this, so shout out to them. Um, all of the dudes, in the group, very knowledgeable basketball aficionados, and I salute them, every day with the basketball talk. But so the day before Thanksgiving, the Miami Heat were playing the Minnesota Timberwolves. They were at Minnesota. And the crowd broke out in unison, chanting Rachel Nichols at Jimmy Butler. Now, Jimmy Butler now, of course, plays for the Miami Heat, but he did play a couple of years in Minnesota under his former coach, Tom Thibodeau, who coached him and also coached him in Chicago. Of course, Thibodeau now coaches the New York Knicks. Now, the genesis of this whole thing, if you're not aware of it, is back in the bubble, 2020. There was an interview that Rachel Nichols conducted where she was interviewing uh, Jimmy Butler, whose team, the Miami Heat, went on this Cinderella run to the NBA Finals. Now, one of the things that you kind of could pick up on in the interview is that there was definitely chemistry between the two, if not some light flirting going on. Now, I think a couple of days after that interview, Rachel Nichols was on not Jimmy Fallon, Jimmy Kimmel. She was on Jimmy Kimmel's show, and I think she said something about how I think after the interview, her and Butler went out and had some coffee. Now, it's been heavily rumored that Jimmy Butler, fuck it, he fucked her. There was report that there was a report that there was a complaint of noise coming from Jimmy Butler's room in the bubble. Security had to check it out. It was a noise complaint that was reported in the bubble. And a lot of people now theorize that that game when Jimmy Butler was gassed after having that triple double, when he was like just totally gassed, was not just the byproduct of all that basketball they were playing, but because um, that's what can happen when. Hey man, we've been there before, man. Look, any man that's listening to this video, I've been there, you've been there. When you've been clapping some cheeks and you know when the inevitable happens, and then you go to work, especially if you work like a manual labor job, you can struggle. I remember I made a mistake. It was a couple of years ago. I made the mistake in 100-degree weather, right? It was hot as fuck. I went and smashed a friend of mine, female friend of mine, right before fucking work. And this was when I was working, I think I was working at the time at the Virginia Museum of Fine Arts, right? And if you go, anybody tell you that, that if you work in that museum, you are on your feet a lot. And I was fucking dead. Dead on my feet the whole goddamn shift. I kept sitting down. I had no fucking energy. I was spent. I was so fucked up that I called out the next day from the combined effects of what I did and then having to work. I think I had to work overtime that day. I didn't get off till like 3 o'clock in the morning. Mind you, I came to work at 3 p.m. And mind you, the activity that I'm talking about was for at least 2 to 2.5 hours. I was fucking dead. So I can understand if Jimmy Butler was gassed. But this the thing though. These fans, man, they have no fucking like respect for these players anymore, man. I mean, Jimmy Butler played for the organization not too long ago. He played for the organization not too long ago. And, you take what happened with LeBron James, which was much worse, a whole different type situation. That was just absolutely despicable. But this just shows you how fans have no respect for these players. And it also shows how heavily influenced social media is on people today. Because this stuff isn't talked about on television. This stuff isn't talked about on ESPN or Fox or Sports. This stuff is talked about by people like me and other content creators on YouTube and other social media sites. That's the thing. That's the power that we have. We talk about this stuff. They can't talk about it. You know what I'm saying? They have people that go on social media to look to see what is being talked about, and they try to homogenize it and pasteurize it to a presentable version for TV censors. But most of the stuff they talk about comes from us. But yeah, like, look, man, look, most likely he fucked her. I mean, she's a whore. I mean, let's be face it, man. That's what they do. We've seen her flirt with LeBron James, touching all on him, flirting on with other NBA players. You know, she has contacts. She has guys, at least, when she was ESPN before, she had contacts, people who would give her information. How you think she'd be getting these contacts? Because of her credibility as a journalist? Fuck no. Through her head game, you know? But, I mean, all I can say about it is, it just shows how a lot of these chicks, man, uh, I'm just saying, bro. A lot of these chicks that get in these positions, not all of them, not all of them, and a lot of them really deserve the positions that they get, man. But I'm telling you, man, these Rachel Nichols in the journalistic world, the Kamala Harrises in the political spectrum, some of these actresses, man, they get these roles mostly because of the casting couch, fucking and sucking players and powerful, donors and powerful people in position to create a pathway for themselves. And I mean, it's what it is, man. Shit. I ain't mad at Rachel Nichols. She's just doing what she's supposed to do, I guess, for a person in her position. You know. One thing I don't understand is why somebody like her gets married. I mean, to put on a good front, I guess, but I don't know. But yeah, man, he ain't the only player that done tapped that. Rachel Nichols almost 50 years old, man. He ain't the only player that been fucking her. You know, she been following. She's been a journalist since the late '90s. You know what I'm saying? So that part don't surprise me. What gets me is like the fans, like the shit that the shit these motherfuckers be like chanting to try to get under players' skin. It don't even be like I said, it's not even sports related shit anymore. It's like they're trying to do anything. And the rule of etiquette. And look, I'm not saying, because somehow, I see some people say, oh man, if y'all think this is rough, what about in the past? Yeah, they would chant certain shit, man, but the fans weren't usually chanting shit about players' personal lives because that wasn't really talked about like that. But then again, maybe you gotta blame social media. You gotta blame social media for this shit. Fans used to be ruthless, but they would attack the player personally, like something about his game or some type of defect he got. Like the Pistons fans used to attack Jordan for his bald ass head and shit like that. You know, 23 years old and you got no fucking hair. They would attack him personally like that, but you wouldn't have no fucking fans saying, "I'm glad your father got murdered." That type of shit. That goes beyond the pale. You know what I'm saying? This is the type of shit fans are on today, and that's disturbing. But I can't help but think it has to come to the fact, or be related to the fact that our societal structure has collapsed. The rules of normal etiquette are gone. There's no shame anymore. So people are acting more savage than they did just 15, 20 years ago. So that's all I got to say in this shit. You know what I'm saying? Tell me what you guys think.